Hey everyone, this is Tech Tips 92 again, and I'm making another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about how to speed up your Windows 7. Now, as you may know, a lot of people probably have bought new computers within the past year or two, and it comes preloaded with Windows 7. And you know that right out of the box, it's working fast, it's working smooth, not a single problem in the world. And then all of a sudden, a couple of months go by, and all of a sudden the computer starts booting slower, it takes longer for applications to load. Now, this could be due to a lot of things, but one of the most common problems with Windows 7 over time is that as you install applications, these applications, as you may know, often come with an option to run automatically at the start when you boot into your system. And now that's not necessarily a bad thing because that means that we don't have to run them just in case we forget. For example, an antivirus, you may want that to boot or to start automatically when you boot your computer, because if you don't, you may forget, and then you may start browsing sites or opening files, and all of a sudden you have a virus on your hands. Same thing with anti-spyware software. But with things, for example, like MSN, Skype, any other programs, you don't really need to have them boot on startup, and it only really slow down um, your not only your boot time but your computer's speed overall. So I'm going to be going through a couple of different things that can help you speed up your computer. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to disable the indexing feature. Now, essentially, just in case you want to know what that is before you go and disabling it, when you go and you open your start menu, you notice at the bottom here in the area, you can't see it; it's a little bit off the screen, but you know what I'm talking about. If you go to the start menu, you can see at the bottom where you can type, and you can type in the name of something, either a file or a program, or even a feature, and you'll see it came up. So for example, I typed in Paint, and Paint comes up there. Now, what happens is when you start doing searches on your computer, for example, if you open up My Computer and you search up here and you start doing searches and stuff, what you'll end up finding is that the computer actually caches that and indexes it so that next time it remembers where it was, so that if you go looking for it frequently, you'll be able to find it faster. Now, to begin with, it doesn't take that long to find in the first time. So really, you're not saving all that much time, and it's taking up resources that can be used for something else. So what we're going to go and do is you're going to go to My Computer, and you can either go to the icon or you can go here in the Start menu, and you're going to go to Manage. And once that opens up, you notice that right here we have Services and Applications. So Services and Applications is what we're going to be clicking on. We're going to double click that, and you'll see Services here. Now, the service that we're going to be disabling is called Windows Search, which, as you can see, is right here under W for Windows Search if you're sorting by name. As you can see here, I already have it disabled, but for you guys, it'll likely be either enabled or automatic, which essentially means that right now it's enabled. You're going to want to go to the properties, and you're going to want to switch startup type to disabled. Now under here, because I have the service stopped, it doesn't actually let me stop it, but you'll be able to click right here, stop, and it's going to ask you if you're sure. Click yes. If you really find that it's taking a lot more time to search for things on your computer, you can come back and enable it, but I really don't see that happening. So for now, we're going to leave it disabled. It may ask you to restart your computer. Just wait, because we're going to be going through a couple of other things, and at the end we'll reboot our computer entirely, because there's a bunch of things that we're going to be doing. There are some other services that you can safely disable. I'll have a list of those in the description box below. The next thing that we're going to want to do is this is completely optional, because depending on how much RAM your computer has, and actually what version of Windows you're running, because if you're running the 32-bit version, you likely don't even have 4 gigabytes of RAM. But anyway, not the point. We're going to be disabling the aero theme. Now, this is because the aero theme uses a lot of resources on the computer that can actually slow it down. What you're going to want to do is you're going to right click on the desktop, and you're going to go to Personalize, and you'll see here that, well, right now I have an unsaved theme. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Basic and High Contrast Themes, and you're going to go to Windows Basic. Now what you're going to see here is that this is actually going to take a few seconds here to load properly. And you're going to end up with something looking like that. Now, me personally, I like my aero theme, so I'm going to go and change it back to what I had it at already. Right. Now, the next thing that I actually recommend is changing your desktop background to a solid color. This is because the computer after won't have to load the image that you have saved as your desktop. That's completely optional, but I do recommend it. And what you'll actually do is you'll click on the desktop background, and over here in the drop-down box, there's an option here for solid colors. You can pick any color that you want. You can go to the More option, and you'll be able to find the full color wheel there. And I do recommend that because I have noticed that makes a difference in boot times. The next thing you want to do is disable your screensaver. And as far as personalization goes, that's all we're going to be doing there. The next thing that we're going to be doing is disabling the user account control feature. Now, if you don't consider yourself to be a computer person, you may not want to disable this because it may make you susceptible to malicious software. However, if you find that you are a person that is, at least in your own mind, tech savvy, then by all means, it does make a difference because things won't have to be asking for your permission all the time. That is, however, take that with a grain of salt, because if you're doing things if you're messing around with your computer and you accidentally install something or accidentally open a file that's infected, your computer will not ask you for permission to open that file. It will just open and it'll run, and whatever damage it causes is really, you can't blame anyone else because you decided to change it in the first place. We're going to be going here to user accounts, and as you can see here, this is my user, and we're going to be changing the user account control settings. You're going to click that. Now yours is probably set to right now the default here, which is notify me only when programs try to make changes to my computer. What you're going to want to change it to is never notify. Now, because I've already set it to that, I don't need to do it again, so I'm going to hit cancel, but you're going to hit OK. It's probably going to ask you to restart your computer. Again, because we're not done yet, just wait. We're going to be restarting our computer at the end. Another thing that you can do actually is if you insert a USB stick into your computer, what you can actually do with your USB, let me just plug a USB stick in to my computer. You can use a software that or a feature that Windows has or that Microsoft has included in their Windows 7 called Windows System Ready Boost. Now you can see here in the autoplay, once that loads my USB stick, I can actually use it right here, speed up my system using Windows Ready Boost. Now what this will actually do is act almost as if it's virtual RAM. This is good because it will allow your computer to store stuff while you're not using an application onto the USB device as if it was RAM, and then once you switch to that application, it'll bring that back onto the RAM and move another unused application back onto the USB stick. This will pop up here, and you're going to want to click use this device, and you're going to want to set the amount of space that you're allocating for the virtual memory.